I need to move that back down.
Right, first I'd like to thank all of you for coming, for the support, and quite a few people have gone through this journey with me, from the very beginning to right now. Friends, family, everybody in work, everybody who I know, Habitat, Lourdes, it's all been part of what has made this journey so important to me. And the turnout tonight, I'm amazed by it, so thank you all. And I would like to thank Ruth and Peter for believing in it. As they said, I arrived here very much a novice on, I think, the second week in January of this year, with a notebook and a pen, heard people reading, and I thought, what am I doing here? I also had invested in a tin whistle to go to a tin whistle class, but there will be no recital tonight because I am terrible. So there's a tin whistle going begging if anybody wants it. So I stuck with the creative writing and was highly impressed with the talent that comes through its class, and sort of quietly got round to putting my own forward, and with encouragement and belief from Ruth and the others in the class, I thought maybe it should come out from under the bed. Maybe it's a story that needs to be told for people who are on this cancer journey, maybe for women, men as well. They find a lump and basically that's it. Their life changes from that point, and what you do with that life is your choice, and it's worth not wasting it. So, as a lot would know me, I don't have a tendency to waste too much of it, and many have said, where did you get the time to write this? But somehow it wrote itself with me, and with Peter believing in it to publish it, I was very honoured. And see myself on the cover is a little bit frightening, but I have to congratulate my son Connor for taking the photograph of his wee moment. So as I say, everybody who I have friends and love and want to be here are here with, well, my two daughters couldn't make it from London, but there's one person missing tonight, and I'm reading this for him tonight because many of you know I lost my dad 134 days ago, but everybody in this room has been touched by people who have lost somebody, and his love of literature hopefully will live on through this book from what he taught me, and so this one's for my dad. Pages into the book where I've already had the lump discovered and I am going to the City Hospital. Wednesday, 8:30 AM, my fate would be decided. 23 hours and 22 minutes left of normality. At 8 AM that Wednesday, the City Hospital looked no different from usual. Shifts of day nurses reporting for duty and very weary night nurses heading to their cars for a cosy sleep under their duvets on this bitterly cold March day. I looked up to the 13th floor of the nurse's home, counted 3 windows across, and saw my home of 3 years. The place I'd lived, loved and laughed in as a 17-year-old was about to turn on me. I loved that 6 by 8 foot room with its bird's eye view of Belfast and my Cave Hill in the distance. I could still see the bed in the corner, the underdrawers stuffed to bursting point with my blue check student uniforms, starched aprons and stiff collars. Cuffs didn't frequent those drawers too often, as I usually lost them a week after I bought them, while the elusive studs, 2 for your belt, 1 for your collar, changed hands outside in the lift between those going on and those coming off duty. It was a frantic scramble when we were all doing the same shift. for your uniform had to be just so. To be seen without any part of it, even the smallest stud, came close to being a sackable offence, or so we thought. My favourite piece was the big wool navy cape with its bright red lining. If you were on night duty and headed over to the nurses' home for your midnight lunch when the nurses' disco was on, it always assured you of a dance. In fact, come to think of it, I got more dances in my uniform than out of it. Off duty, my built-in wardrobe was used as a swap shop for any size 8 to 10 nurse. Few size 12s tried and failed, and anyone over 5'1" didn't stand a chance. The desk to the right of the window was filled with knickknacks and memorabilia of nights out with the boys I'd loved and lost, and the boys I'd loved and left, while family pictures and soft toys weighed down the shelf above. And of course, a little space was left for studying, but that was mainly done in bed, curled up in my oversized PJs and fluffy socks. ABBA's Dancing Queen playing loudly on my cherished record player warmed us all up for the disco, and a bit of Roxy Music, Red or David Cassidy, Could It Be Forever, Swoon, saw us through the post-mortem in the wee small hours. And for my best friend Rosie, I'd throw in a bit of country and western. Painful, I know, but it had to be done for her. Yes, in that room, I fell in and out of love many, many times. I nursed many a hangover from experimenting with Pernod and blackcurrant, whiskey and blackcurrant, wouldn't recommend it, and cider and blackcurrant. The only part of my tipples that never changed was the blackcurrant. Not so good though, second time round when my head was chucking it up over the sink. Yes, this was the place that prepared me for adulthood. But was this to be the place that would now cut that adulthood short? Had I laughed too much? Was it now the time for tears? I took my eyes away from the 13th floor of my past and looked to the hospital's massive tower block. The block which held the people and machines that would now decide my future. Not a scary building. In fact, the foyer with its shop and coffee corner had quite a friendly buzz about it. A short walk took me towards the first signpost of my journey, outpatients. Why me? Well, why not me? Timidly I went to the desk, stated my name and address, and then Patrick and I took our seats among a scattering of women. It was only 8:20, so there's plenty of seats to choose from. Eyes rose to look in my direction, maybe because I had that new kid on the block look, or maybe it was because I still had a full head of hair, a telltale sign that this was my first visit. They were sympathetic glances, empathetic glances, all girls together. Name called, I walked calmly to the room behind the nurse. My heart was pumping in my chest, my head, even my limbs. Could you hear it? I felt nausea well up from the pit of my gut, but no breakfast assured that it remained in place. When the consultant spoke to me, I could hardly get my tongue off the roof of my mouth. But somehow I kept it together, giving her a big smile and mumbling a few words about what I'd found. Her manner was brisk and efficient, even virgin and cold, but that was okay. As 1 ounce of sympathy, I'd have lost it. Note taken, examination, and a needle stuck into my left boob over, I was sent outside to wait 3 hours on the lab report. Come back at 12, they said, handing my fate on a 3-inch slide to a faceless technician. A man, maybe a woman, who probably wouldn't even get round it till after their tea break. After all, who was I? Just a faceless name on a lab request. Not really a person, a mother, a wife, a daughter, a sister, a friend. No, I was just a few cells smeared on a little piece of glass. As a nurse, I sent 100 samples to the lab every day, kidding myself that I was empathetic to all these patients. Boy, I didn't even come close. 3 hours isn't usually very long. In my day, I could have filled it 10 times over. But that day, someone stopped my watch, and every clock within a 5-mile radius. Every minute seemed like an hour, and every hour seemed like an eternity. I timed played it out in my head, all my reactions. Good news, that would be the easy one. But bad news, now that proved a little bit tougher to write the script for, as he didn't really have an ending. Really bad news? Well, let's not go there. The scene was set when I returned to outpatients. We were the only two there. Oh, not a good sign. Keep bad news and tears away from an audience. The nurse walked past me and went for backup. The cancer specialist nurse. Oh, no, I had played this scene so often as a senior casualty nurse, I knew the script backwards. I left Patrick in the waiting room and took the 10 steps required to reach my future, or lack of it. Funny, I felt strangely calm, void of emotion, numb. How bad could it be? I was a fit, healthy 44-year-old. I could get through this, couldn't I? Malignant. Benign. That's a fat, cute cell. Something you could live with. Something you could be attached to forever. A friendly lump. But no, my lump wasn't to be fat, round and cosy. It was harsh, jagged and aggressive. A bad cell growing inside me. A malignancy. Spreading its evil around my body, through the breasts that fed my babies, the small size 32Bs that made me feel like a woman. The breath that could now kill me. I listened calmly as a plan was arranged. The two nurses kept guard, ready to pounce on my reaction. But I was trained for this. Well, maybe not for this side of the desk, but I wanted to remain composed, so I kept listening. It's true though what they say about patients only hearing 1/3 of what you tell them. I left the room with 2/3 bouncing off the consulting room walls and ceiling. Malignant? I really didn't need to hear any more. Out in the waiting room, I calmly told Patrick it wasn't good news. From that moment, our paths began to separate. Not obvious at first, but the seed had been planted. A slow silence grew between us. Words didn't get spoken. We were both trying to go in the same direction, but we read the map differently and began to veer apart. In the safety of the car, silent tears rolled down my cheeks as I watched the nurse's home fade into the distance, taking with it all my hopes and dreams. Yes, maybe I had laughed too much, and it was now the time for tears. So I let them fall gently down my cheeks, because I knew that when I reached home, I would have to dig deep, hide my tears, and put on a brave face. I had 10 minutes to cry my heart out. Just 10 minutes.
Well, you see what I mean? Thanks, Caroline. I'd just like to finish by letting you know that there's books up here if anyone would like to purchase one. There's wine over here.